Welcome to the Virtual Insanity
podcast. I can't believe we're doing this.
Toasty!
Well,
hello there.
Welcome back, Virtual Insanity fam. Nice to have you here. Matt, want to start?
Yeah. I was thinking, I was like, why did I never do what I wanted to be when I was a kid?
Okay.
Because I always wanted to be a marine biologist or a paleontologist.
Yeah.
Paleontologist because of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It was a site. Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But also, you always had that like archaeologist as well, like the Indiana Jones, because them films just made that job look amazing.
Yeah.
Then as you get older, you're like, that's really boring. So, like, when you actually get old enough to realise what the job really is, like, you're not going to be one day digging up a dinosaur bone and be like, yeah, and then some crazy guy invites you to an island and you're going to see a dinosaur. Like, no, that was like my childhood dream.
Okay.
It was like to be one of them.
Okay.
And I always find it interesting. So, like, what did you want to be when you were a kid?
As a kid, what did I want to be when I was older? Believe it or not, I wanted to be an archaeologist.
Was it because of Indiana Jones, though?
It's because of Indiana Jones, it was because of Jurassic Park, and it was because of Stargate.
Yeah.
So all three of them kind of got me onto, this looks like it could be quite a cool job. And then you get older and you realise, oh, it's just writing. It's just lots of writing.
Yeah. That's like,
you know what I mean? And I don't know. It's not, I suppose you've seen it in the movies, so that's what you're going to expect. But when you look at the reality of it, it's actually just a lot of hard work.
Inside a library,
yeah,
or a
just
museum,
doing,
yeah,
not
right.
What you want to be doing.
Yeah, you're not swinging around on a rope
over
like ravines.
You'll be chased by a boulder.
Yeah, I think for some reason, and I think it's just because I've seen videos, a job that I am genuinely like, I just want to apply and get a trial for it.
Right.
Just because it looks amazing. It's so intense.
Oh, God.
Like, and I'm there going, and like, it's advertised the world's most dangerous job.
I swear to God, if this is like a fucking cleaning lady or something.
No, I've done that before. North Sea oil rig. Them videos of the boats. Mate, I was watching, and I'm there going, but they just stood there like, yeah.
What I want to know,
Waves.
What I want to know, right? You know, on them oil rigs, are the oil rigs like set in place, or
Yeah.
do they lift and rise with the ocean?
I think they're set in place.
You know, almost like almost like a suspension in a way.
I'm not sure.
So it's not like, oh, it's just going to fuck off down the
It's not going to float.
ocean.
It's not floating about.
No, but it can like bob.
I think looking at the structures themselves, they've probably got a bobbing mechanism in them.
If there's anybody that works on North Sea oil rigs or any kind of oil
rig, like,
and you for some reason watch this, get in touch, and I want to know, because that'd be fucking terrifying.
One what the fuck moment with like this job was I worked in a restaurant that was by a lake, so naturally there's rats, not in the restaurant or anything, but around the grounds. It was a holiday park sort of setup, so in the woods, so it's expected. And I always remember it was like about 9:30 at night, and it was like, Matt, you go do the freezer list. I'm like, yeah, sound. It's winter, so anyway, go through the back, and there's like a window before you get to the door, and we'd got a door, but with a like netting door as well.
Right.
As I walk past the window, I look out, and I'm like, and there's a bench where we sit out, have a breaks out and all that outside if it's nice. And then the fridges and freezer were under a canopy. And walk out. I don't walk out. I see through the window. I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. Like, you got that like shudder feeling,
Right.
And I'm looking at the table. And I'm like, I don't like that. So I open the door, but keep the other door shut. And I kid you not, I look, and then the security light goes on. And on the park table that we had, the cast of Ratatouille was sat there.
What the fuck?
I was like, walk backwards back into the kitchen. Chef, the cast of Ratatouille are outside. I am not going to the freezer. He was like, there was renovating, so we had a skip outside the back of the kitchen, and it was summer. And some of the chefs are a bit lazy when they empty the bins.
Right.
So they're throwing them on this skip. Anyway, each day it's getting hotter. And then all of a sudden it's like about 9, half 9 at night, and we're starting to clean down, so we're open till 10 serving. So we used to get out for about 11ish. Well, 10:30, have a beer or two, then go home, sort of thing. But I was down on the section and it was by like a fire exit door that went, basically our door that we used. And I looked down and I could see something, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why is that there? And I just think it's like a risotto grain or something. And I notice another. I'm like, and then I look at the door. There was like an army of maggots.
Oh no, fuck that.
Coming under this door,
No.
because it didn't quite reach the bottom.
No.
I get the short straw. I have to stay overnight because there was no way of stopping them. There was that many. Like, the bin basically was full.
Fire.
Yeah, but the skip was full of these bags, and they're all coming to the kitchen because of the light source. Me and this other chef overnight, we've got salt down and everything. Like, it was like proper ritual sort of thing. And you'd be like, every so often you'd see them, and you're like, right, start stamping them, trying to get them out, boiling water, whatever. Like, they're just bastards. You can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
And basically what we were doing was we had to stay there so they didn't get into the kitchen, so we could stay open. Because the owners were like, no, you've got to open. So that's what we had.
Wow.
It was literally like
maggot patrol.
Yeah, and it was horrible. And then the next day we were like, yeah, we're not doing it. And they're like, oh, well, you did such a good... No.
Piss off.
No, I am not sitting in this kitchen, because it was fucking cold and spooky as well. Like, it's a kitchen, and because there was a weird thing there, like there was a glass vase on the edge of the bar in the restaurant side. And no matter what, every day, cleaner would come in and clean it. The next morning, there'd be fag ends in there. You weren't allowed to smoke in there. But then there was always this story of a waitress, I think, which was older, and she basically had a heart attack and died at this point. But she used to smoke,
right?
And it was back when you could smoke inside. So she used to stub them in the vase. That was the story. So obviously that's going through your head as well. You're on maggot patrol. You're like, what if it's her fucking body? Like, you know, out of nowhere, you're like, they're not coming from the bin. There's like actually
there's just a dead body somewhere.
Yeah, or she's risen. Like,
oh, good God.
You're just putting all this fear in your heads.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an experience. I think the rat one was scary, but the maggot one was just like, it was proper surreal.
Yeah, it's just
like,
maggots. Oh.
Am I really doing this? Like, stopping up overnight where I work to make sure maggots don't come in.
I hope you got some good overtime.
No. Well, I can't think of any that top maggot watch though. Like,
no.
Apart from the time I found out what happens when a squirrel dies.
What do you mean? What happens when a squirrel dies?
So, back where Ratatouille was.
Right.
I remember one morning I was starting at like 6:30, 7, and there was like delivery. So you put the delivery away, and anyway, so I'm outside, and all of a sudden I hear a thud. And I'm like, what's that? I look up, and all I can see is a squirrel just thwack, lay there.
Okay.
His head's overhanging like the edge of the like roofy sort of thing, but it's a clear perspex roof, so you can just see this squirrel, and you're like, right, and then like blood starts dripping out, and you're like,
Oh, it's dead.
oh, it's dead. So they genuinely just fall out the tree when they die.
That's brutal.
Like, because I've always wondered, like, not in a
I didn't know if they would do like a cat thing.
yeah, like just go off and
Find somewhere and just
no, genuinely, boom, just out the tree.
Wow.
And it was just like,
That's horrible.
and then all that went through my head was, who do I call about this to get it? Like, I'm not touching it.
No, you don't want to touch it.
I'm like, what am I meant to, how do I report a dead squirrel? Like,
Get a stick about. Come on.
oh, the temptation, but the
I was working at a hotel. Well, it was a building site at the time. It was going to be a hotel, and they were fitting the lifts. So this thing was like five stories high, I think it was. This lift shaft. I don't know why, but one of the guys that was on our floor, he went to the lift shaft. I don't know if somebody had shouted something, and he looked up. And just as he'd looked up, 5 floors up, somebody had kicked a brick or launched a brick down the lift shaft, thinking nobody's going to be down. It'll be fine to just launch it down there, or it got kicked down there. Yeah, smacked the guy right on the head. Had to take it to the hospital. Like, that was brutal. That was.
I don't understand that. That is like,
Yeah, brutal.
I mean, I've seen someone slip in the fryer.
Ooh.
So that was like, and he came back to work after all these skin grafts and stuff. It was like 6 months later, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he went, "Oh, it was a free way of getting rid of my tattoos." I'm just there like,
yeah, mate. All right, sound bud. Yeah.
first thing he did as soon as he came back, straight up to the fries and started working. I was like, I'd be like PTSD, like,
Wow.
I wouldn't go to anywhere that served fried food. I think just for the fear of somehow the fryer would end up next to me, or no. But literally, he was just cleaning and the guard had been taken out, so he slipped and just went whoosh, up to his elbows, mate. Like,
Oof.
yeah. What's been one of your best memories at work? Like your favourite job? Like a moment in that?
Back when I was very first going into the world of work,
Yeah.
as a door-to-door canvasser. Absolute job of like, raw. Do you know what I mean? That's the worst job. But again, all the people that did the job hated the job because it was just like, what are we doing here? So we all used to like fuck around, and so we'd go to a door and you just knock on the door and you just decide who you were going to be when they opened that door. So, you know, you could be Matt, who's just normal you. Or you'd be someone that had an Australian accent, or a Scottish accent, or a Welsh accent, or an American accent. And, you know, most of the time, that was fine, because normally you open the door, you'd say it in an accent, they'd look at you and just be like, no thanks, and shut the door, like automatic. But this one time, this one fucking time, right?
Yeah.
Knock on the door. G'day, mate, you alright? Your driveway, do you think you might need it doing? He's like, yeah. I'm like, awesome, mate, we can get you sorted for that. And he's like, whereabouts are you from then? And you can't really just say, I'm from down the road, mate. Like, So you kind of got to go with it. So you just like, Perth, and it's like, oh yeah, I know Perth. I've got family around there. Do you know this sort of area? And you're like,
oh God.
yeah, I know that. And and you're just like, fuck, I gotta get through this fucking like absolute interrogation. I managed to get through it, and I got what you call a lead. Like, you know, they'd have someone come round and give them a proper quote. But yeah, that was.
If that had happened to me, I'd have probably just been like,
just run away.
yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
I live down the road. I had a hard life.
Yeah.
I eat corned beef and onion sandwiches. Yeah. Just like all of a sudden change again. And I'd be like, thank you for sponsoring us. And run up like, just make out I've got a split personality. Like, I know I shouldn't, but just be like,
It's, because again, you've normally spoke to the person that you walk around with. You normally walk around in pairs.
Yeah.
So you're just like, right, I'm going to go for,
Aussie.
an Aussie one. And they're like, yeah, sound. And they'll normally wait at the bottom of the drive. And they'll be listening to you. And they're just laughing. And then, like, when this guy interrogated me, the other guy just walked off. He just walked off. He could not handle it. It's just like, nope, because if I get caught out here, I'm like, it'd be embarrassing for one, but it'd also be like, what the fuck are you doing, mate? Like,
yeah, but you don't have to be Australian.
No,
they call you out.
Like, I mean, it was I lathered on the accent, like, real strong. So it'd be a bit nutty as to like, what is that guy about? You know what I mean? Yeah, but like, I want to ask you, have you ever made an excuse, or what's the best excuse you've ever come up with to get out of work?
I don't know, because actually, it's a weird one. Like, obviously, I woke up and I've had a hangover, and I'm like, yeah, I can't go to work. And the thing is, I don't do it because the times where I've rung up and I've been like, yeah, I've got food poisoning. Like, I finished work last night, I had a takeaway. And then the next day you're ready to go. Like, you just want that one day. You're just like, I need a day because I really can't be arsed.
Yeah.
And I've got enough holiday money to pay for it, so yeah. And then the next day you wake up ready to go, and you're actually ill with the same thing. Like, and you're just there like,
damn,
why do I do this?
Yeah.
Like, if I'd have known, I'd have suffered that day.
Yeah.
And then been like, I am actually ill.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I've got to go to work in a way, but also I can't.
Yeah. You're just like, today's going to be death.
Yeah. So you ring up again and they're like, but you say you can be back. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm not. And it's because they've got someone in that was meant to work that day to cover your shift, thinking that you're coming in. So they've got the day off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
And you're just like, I've been on the other end of it as well.
Yeah. It's like, exactly what the other person's doing, but you can't say anything because...
Yeah, like, you work with, and you're just there like, I know you went out last night. Just tell the truth.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hurt you.
Why are you being a scumbag? Why are you doing this to me?
What know what it's like. I was out with you. Like, that's the worst one, when it's like your work colleague that you were out with.
Like, you make a pact, like, we are going to work tomorrow.
Yeah, you're like, I'll see you tomorrow at 9.
Yeah.
Right, okay, Sam. Right. I'll see me on the book, whatever. And then you don't meet them.
Yeah, they're not there.
And then
it's like, instantly as well. The moment they're not there, you're just like, damn,
scumbag.
Fuck. You know what I mean?
But also, you're like, I'm glad I turned up because they know.
They
know we went out or something. So it's like that whole. At least I've come to work.
Yeah, take one for the team. Well, I've got an excuse. And the more I think about it, and I knew we were talking about this today. And I've really been thinking about this. Like, what a fucking idiot. So I was working in a chocolate factory. And it's not as glamorous as you think it might be. It's horrible. And it's nothing like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I'll tell you now. So I was working in this essentially white-walled room with no windows, no ventilation, just nothing but white walls and stainless steel machinery, right?
And chocolate.
Now, you might think, yeah, but the smell of chocolate, incredible. No. Nope. It's disgusting. It's the strongest chocolate smell ever, obviously, because it's being made there. And it just puts you off chocolate. I actually didn't eat... For the whole time I worked at this chocolate factory, didn't eat chocolate at all. Couldn't eat any chocolate at all.
Yeah, you'd think you do.
Like,
Eat it all the time.
horrible. And the thing is, like, it's like they knew this. So they used to put trays of chocolate at the end of the belts. Just help yourself. Test one. Try one. And you're just like, no, if I took, I think I'd be sick everywhere. So it's doing this job for a bit. And it just kept getting at me and getting at me at the fact that I was just in these like white walls, just absolutely doing nothing. You used to get something like half an hour of the radio.
What?
Every day. That was it. Because they wouldn't pay for a PRS license. So you could only have half an hour of radio. That was it. So anyway, I've gone for like my break. And I've just thought, I'm done. You know, when you feel that, you know, when you're in a job, you're just like, I'm done. I've calculated it all in my head. The risk is worth it. I am done.
I'm going home.
So I thought, right, how do I get out of this? I don't look ill. I can't really fake being ill. I've got a wicked idea. So I went to the changing rooms, made sure no one was in the changing rooms. And I just full bore ran into the lockers. Just like with my shoulder, just straight shoulder barge this, right? Started punching the fuck out my shoulder. And then full bore rammed into the fucking lockers again. Come out and I was just like, I've just fallen down the stairs, like, and my shoulder is it's fucked. Do you know what I mean? And at this point, because I'd fucking wailed the fuck out of my arm, you could see a bit of bruise, and they were like, "Oh, like shit, like we'll take you to hospital." And I was like, "What? Sorry, you'll do what?" Yeah, we'll take you to hospital.
Because they're covering the...
Yeah, because they're making sure that they're covered. And I was like, shit. So I had to go with this employee, right? And it was one of the obviously senior management employees, right? And act like my shoulder was in pain. Because it wasn't, obviously. All the way to the hospital. Then I had to have an x-ray. And they were just like,
it's just bruised.
Your shoulder's fine, it's just a bit like bruised up. And I was like, sound, thanks.
They do.
And then she took me back to the factory. And she was like, well, you know, go home, because I had like some medication, because they were like, we'll give you some paracetamol. I mean, we'll give some pain relief if you want.
Yeah, please.
Just like, whatever.
I'm so much pain.
Got the pain relief. Whatnot. Got back to the chocolate factory, got in my car and drove off, and it was like pretty much about the same time as when I'd be finishing work. So and there was really no point to the entire thing. I just thought I'd
get to go home.
I'd get to just go home at that point, but no, they took me to the hospital and everything. The fucked up thing was, right, I fucking hated that job. But it was like on a 6-month rolling contract. And I kept getting contracts. They were like, you're really good. That's like, what
stay.
the fuck? Fuck off. Like,
you've took me to hospital.
Like, and they just kept giving me contracts, just saying like I'm a really good worker and like we're like pleased to have you. And I was just thinking, fuck off, like,
leave me be.
Yeah,
I don't want to be here.
Yeah, but that's my excuse. That's probably the best excuse I've had.
Yeah, I've never thought like that. I mean, I used to be able to dislocate my shoulder, so sometimes like, I'd go around to the dry when I'm prepping. I can't be arsed, and I'd be like, and I'd pop it.
Yeah,
and be like, my shoulder's, but I need to go. And
see,
like,
the last time I worked in a kitchen, and I had that fuck it, I'm done moment, was when I set up my business that I do now.
Yeah,
and I was doing that. So because I was like a nothing kitchen prepper guy, do you know what I mean? Like, I think they tried to class it up as like sous chef or something like that, but I went nowhere near any of that. You know what I mean? I was making desserts off a
piece of paper.
off a piece of paper that's been laminated with a draw with like the picture of what it's meant to look like. Okay,
like,
son, do you know what I mean? Like it's not. So you used to have quite a lot of days off. So I'd just go and do my job that I do now on my days off. And it got to a point where it was like my new job that I want to do is now taking over, and I can't really go to work. I remember walking in, I was talking to the chef, and he weren't happy about. So I don't know what he was. His head chef, they're never happy. Do you know what I mean? Like unless I don't know, they're drinking something. You know what I mean? Normally, most of the time, and most of the time, that chef was only happy when he had a drink in his hand. I was fair enough. I just remember him looking at me and kicking off, and he was just like, he's like, "You're never going to be a chef with this attitude." And I just looked at him and I just went, "Fuck off. I'm fucking done. Fuck you." Took my shit off, put my clothes back on, grabbed my shit off. I'm gone. See you in a bit. You know what I mean? So I remember getting my paycheck from there for the first time ever, and just like, I've been self-employed on and off for over the years. Do you know what I mean? And so like, I kind of forgotten what employed payment is, and it's an absolute joke. I remember getting the paycheck and looking at it, just going, and that's the last time I'm working here. You know what I mean? At that very point, I looked at that check and was like, yeah, no, this ain't happening. I've got to do something else because that's a joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, oof. But yeah, the last time I was in the kitchen, I told the guy told the head chef to fuck off.
I've seen a few go that way.
Like,
it's just natural.
You know, the guy was blatantly angry at something, or blatantly angry that someone hadn't turned up. Yeah, I'd turned up. I was there. I didn't have to be there at that point. I could have quite easily just not turned up. But then he just kicked off at me, and I was just like, "Yeah, son, fuck you. See you later. Bye."
I wanted an excuse.
Literally, but give me an excuse to not be here because I'm taking it. Any excuse. Do you know what I mean?
I had to go on my food hygiene, and it was my level 2 recap. I need to do my level 3 next again because they've all run out, and it was like, oh god, I can't be bothered. And every time I'd been scheduled to do it, someone's rang in sick, or so I've not done it for like 2 years. So I'm there going, I actually need to do it. So anyway, I do it. Obviously, I pass, and you get a certificate, but they email it to you now.
Oh, okay.
So straight away, I emailed it my mum, and I goes, print it off and put it in my record of achievement.
Oh.
And then in my head, I was like, do people even use them? Like, I remember it being a big song and dance at school. You got your record of achievement, and it had like a heading letter thing, and you had a CV that wasn't. It just said you had gone to school.
My when I got given my national record of achievement at school, it was like being given like the holy grail.
Yeah.
Of like, this is going to solve all of your problems. This one book. It's like a burgundy
it says
book.
Record of Achievement.
It just says National Record of Achievement. Like, nice.
Yeah, they don't even exist now.
So, yeah, I remember mine. I've still got mine somewhere, definitely.
And
it has got the way they sold it to you was just like, you put anything you have ever achieved goes in this booklet.
Yeah. So your GCSE certificates, then your A level, and then like if you've got a degree.
25-meter swimming badge.
Yeah. I wasn't. You got your GCSE certificates at Record of Achievement night, and that was always like the November after. So you'd left school, but you still went back
to grab all your stuff, and
you put them in your Record of Achievement. So anyway, and I'm like, where is it? All right. And all of a sudden, it was someone I'd lived with. I knew it was at that place. So I was like, I wonder if they've got it in theirs.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I managed to get in contact, and they had it. And I remember they're like going to pick it up, just because it was like 3 days and I had to go. So it was like, yeah, I could do with getting it. Pick it up. And I remember getting home and looking at it and being like, Record of Achievement. What the fuck? Like, I was just like, no, that's bad memories. Like, it was like exams.
Yeah.
When things like weird things mattered that don't matter now, but sometimes I'm like, maybe you should have took it serious.
I must say, so my national record of I put every certificate I've ever had, and I'm talking like primary school certificates are in my national record of achievement. Like I say, my 25-meter swimming badge, that's in there.
Did mine?
And I got so I went
Six
and
more.
did. So I went and worked with my mom during the 6 weeks holiday one, because she was like, it'd be good for you to see
Yeah.
what an office job's like. You'll get a bit of money, you know, it'll be
Yeah.
fine. It'll be, you know, nothing taxing. I was like, yeah, son, let's go for it. That's where I found my love of coffee, by the way.
Oh, I
So
do love a coffee.
it was a super simple job. Sit at this desk, put this letter in this envelope, and put it in this box. That was my job. Yeah. So I was doing that, and I was working ways of making it faster. And while I was doing this, I just kept drinking coffee. And I was about 14, I think, maybe a little bit younger. I'm just drinking this coffee. About 12 coffees in.
Yeah.
They're only small, you know.
The
little
vending machine.
Yeah, you know, the little vending machine ones. I had about 12 coffees, and I started to shake. And I was just like, oh, what's this? I was just sat at the office table, just like, just buzzing.
And now it's like, hello.
Yeah, no, it's like coffee. It's like, come here, please. I just need that sweet.
I'm literally like, don't talk to me till I've had my first coffee. And then maybe, but usually when I get to work, 3 coffees.
Yeah.
And then
We see the job I do now
yeah.
is customer based. So I'll go to the house, and most of the time you'll get a coffee straight away.
It's a courteous thing though, you always go, would you like a drink?
Yeah.
Like,
and it's the thing, so when you're self-employed, you kind of get taught you don't refuse a drink because it's like classed as rude.
Yeah, which...
And that's fine. But some of the houses I have worked in have been a bit gnarly, shall we say?
Yeah.
And you don't want to drink. And I remember having this labourer with me at the time, and I was like, whatever you do, you must accept a drink if they offer you one. So we go to this person's house, and they're like, do you want a drink? And I'm just like, no, I'm all right. I've got, because I had a can with me at that time, like a kind of Fanta or whatever. I was like, no, I'm all right. And my mate was like, yeah, I'll have one. So, you know, the customer brought this cup of tea in. She had a lot of cats.
Oh, God.
So, my labourer's looking at me. He's a good friend. And he's got this cup. And he's like super observant. So, like, the moment you walk into a room, he just knows if something's off or what's wrong. Yeah. Or if there's, like, dirt or anything. And he's spotted this hair. And I've spotted this hair. But the customer's not leaving. It's almost like she's waiting for him to take a sip of this drink to kind of confirm if it's okay or not. So
Russian stand-up.
He's just there. He's just there with his cup, just like looking at it like, I don't want to drink this. And I'm looking at him like, you've got to drink it. And she's looking at him like,
going, please drink it.
Are you all right? You know? And he just, as he lifts the cup up to his mouth, he's just looking at me like, you're gonna die. He's just like, wow.
I'm glad that wasn't me, because
But that's the beauty of being self-employed. Like, genuinely, I've been to someone's house, right? And again, this was with a different labourer. And when I did the quote, honestly, the house smelt fine. Right. It was fine, yeah?
Okay.
We turned up to do the job. And I don't know what had happened in between the weeks of me going to do the quote and him accepting to us doing the job.
Right.
But we walked into that house and the smell, like, hits the back of your throat.
Oh,
And
pungent.
you just like, and you can't say anything because the customer is stood right there. So you just sort of, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
oh God. And we go upstairs and it gets worse. And we walk into the room and it's a bare room anyway. Like the room was completely emptied. It's not
Yeah.
really been used.
Yeah. So like just blank canvas.
Yeah. It was absolutely knackered, the room was. Like, that's why we were there, to fix it.
Yeah.
My mate runs over to the window, but rips the window off the hinges to get air in. And he's just like hanging out the window trying not to be sick. It's so funny because he's just like heaving. And every time he heaving, he's trying to be quiet because he doesn't want to let the customer know. And it's even funnier. So we were both at the window like, fucking hell. And it's at that point we look at the floor. you know when you were younger and people would just leave dog shit out.
Yeah.
And it'd go white.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was in the room. There was 3 of them in the room. On the floor, just 3 dog shits. I hope they were dog shits. 3 dog shits that had gone completely white.
Crystallized white, sort of like.
That sent my labour over the edge. He was done. So
fucking done, mate.
at that point though, we did have to walk downstairs and basically say to the customer, like,
we can't do this.
We're not. That's not our job. We're not picking up dog poo. I'm sorry. And the guy was like, "No, that's all right. Sorry, it was up there. I didn't realise it was up there. Yeah, it's crystallised white. All right."
You can't smell it.
He picked it up anyway. Took it away. We went back in there, and we have to use PVA on the walls to stop the plaster from going off too fast, and it seals things and whatnot. Helps create a bond. Now, normally you water it down, so you get the most get the most out of it. Not this time. We got the full 5 litre tub into a bucket, and it's like thick as hell. We're just lathering it all over the walls to kill the smell. And now we've just got this like super potent PVA smell just burning our nostrils. But it's better than the smell that was in that house. You know what I mean? Needless to say, I think we lasted 2 days there, and we decided to quit at that point because
I'd have been gone.
It's just not. It wasn't a good job. But speaking of that, what have you had a job? What's the fastest job you've ever either left or you've been fired from?
I was working on agency once.
Yeah.
And I'm at this place. It's in the middle of nowhere, like a random village, nice little pub. You know the one.
Yeah.
It's not going to be busy, but they've not got a chef, so you're there. Well, there was a chef, but she was probably more. Like, anyway, I'm there, and I've been there a few days now. I'm getting paid like decent because I was obviously, like I said, agency, but I'm doing my job, and then EHO turn up.
EHO, Environmental Health
so
Organisation.
Like, and I'm like, this isn't even my kitchen. I'm agency, but I've been there a few days, so I know things are sort of in up. Like,
yeah.
I'm not getting paid fully to look after their kitchen, but I'm getting paid to do a job.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's that random day of the year. And it only ever happens one day.
Right.
And it's the same across the whole country. That one day. I'm just there, it's hot. I'm on pass, I'm playing up, I'm like sending out some pine chips or whatever. Like, and all of a sudden, I'm like, I've got like that itch feel. And I look down, I'm like, what's going on? Shake my trousers, a flying ant falls out.
No.
And I'm like, and I look, and I can see him. Like,
just everywhere.
Like, not loads at this point, but they're like
enough
on the counter. And they're like round your feet, and they're over there, and I'm like, and then you see one fly, then the next thing you know, then EHO are there, and I'm stuck. Boom, flying ant day happened.
No.
In the middle of this kitchen, and I'm like, I'm straight out that door. I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back. Nope. Nope. I still like, think about it and I get that. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember like going out the front. I'm like, no, I'm done. And then like my taxi wasn't going for another half hour, and I'm like, well, I can't go anywhere else. So I'm sat there and I'm like, something's going off, and I had long hair at the time.
Yeah.
I do that. Flying out
Oh,
my hat.
no,
I'm like,
no,
what?
no.
That was one of them. It was so surreal
Yeah.
because environmental health are there, and then this happens, and you don't even work there, so you're there like, I was literally there like, yeah, see ya. Pick up my knives and I'm gone.
Wow, I can pretty much meet you on par with that, I think. So I got this job opportunity, and they asked you, they said to you, do you want to work in the office or do you want to work in the warehouse?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was going to work in the office. It would just be way easier, and you know what I mean. It'd be fine instead of working in the warehouse. And we got to the job. They separated us from warehouse to an office.
Yeah.
I went upstairs. The people who I'd kind of like already made like some sort of friendly connection with, all the guys, like they just went down to the warehouse, and it was just me alone upstairs in the office, like, you know, with all the other office workers, just like, oh, okay.
I made the wrong decision.
Yeah, literally. And so I got to the office, and I literally said to the guy, I was like, is there any way I can change the warehouse? And he was like, I'll see what we can do. So we started data inputting, and I knew as soon as I started data input, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
I'm not a robot. I'm
but
done.
At that point, the guy had come back in and said, can we have a quick word? Do you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, sound like, you know, if you managed to sort me a warehouse job out. And he was just like, so yeah, I don't think this is going to work. So thank you for your time, and we'll see you later. I was just like, what? Just like straight out, fuck you, see you in a bit.
You got sacked because you wanted to change department, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just blatantly like not having any of that shit. And I was like, all right, fair enough.
All right. Cheers for hiring me.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You.
For like all of like, literally, I think I must have been there for like, what, an hour?
Until next time, thank you for listening. A comment, like or share really helps us out, and we would love to hear your stories and thoughts in the comments section below.